This video is going to be another trail review, and in this series of videos I introduce some trails to some of you out there who may not have heard of some of these trails, or if you have, give you a better description. In these videos I try to use my GoPro camera to give you guys kind of a view of the trail. Unfortunately on this trip I did not bring my GoPro, but I want to introduce this trail to you and just kind of give you a description of it and give you an idea of what it's like. It's more of a route because there's several trails that I put together to do this route, and this one is in the Pisgah Ranger District area. This is just outside of Brevard, North Carolina. In fact, it starts really close to downtown Brevard, and one of my favorite routes that I do, and I'm going to show you the route on this map. So if any of you want to come up to North Carolina or come down to North Carolina, however you're coming, and do this route, you can know how it goes. I will say, if you're familiar with rides in the Bent Creek area near Asheville or Solly, other places like that in North Carolina, this is going to be a lot different. It's a lot more rugged terrain than some of these other parks, like again Bent Creek and Solly. So this would be more of an advanced ride. There are some areas on this trail where there's some pretty big rock gardens, a couple areas that I actually had to walk down. My technical skills are pretty good. I can ride down some pretty nasty stuff, but there are some boulders that have some turns while you're kind of hopping down the boulders that are pretty hairy. So just keep that in mind. Again, it's a pretty rugged ride. A lot of climbing, a lot of up and down. At the very end, you've got a really nice downhill. Probably the smoothest section of the whole trail is in the last couple miles. Again, I'll show you this on the map. But you are going to probably need a bike that is going to have some suspension on it, is what I'd recommend. When I did this ride yesterday, I used my Giant Trance, which is a 27.5 wheel bike with 140 millimeters of travel, and it was perfect for this route. I mean, absolutely perfect. It has a dropper seat post on it, which I would recommend for this because again, there's some kind of white knuckled sections, you know, and if you don't like riding down you know, some rocks with some drop-offs, you can walk it and still be fine, still enjoy the trail. But the climbs on this route are pretty rugged and they're pretty steep, so just keep that in mind if you're going to do that. Let me show you the route, but before I do, I would recommend getting this map. This is the Pisgah Ranger District map from National Geographic. You can go on Nat Geo's website and get this. There's a lot of them. This is map number 780, and so this is the one that you'd want to get. And there are just a ton of trails in here, but it helps to have some knowledge, and that's what I want to excuse me, do for you guys, because some of the trails are a lot easier to ride down than up, and doing the route as I show you on here is going to be the best way to do it, because there's some stuff that's be really hard to ride up, but if you're coming down it's fine. So let me show you the route on this map. Okay, looking on the map, there's two sides to this map. I'm on the side that says north side, and Brevard is right over here, and 276 leaves Brevard and goes by the campground. So you're going to want to get on 276, and about a mile or two down 276 you're going to pass the campground. And let me just say, this is a really good campground if you want to do a trip and camp. It does fill up pretty fast, so you want to book in advance. And I have done a 4-night trip here on this campground, and it was a really good trip. Just past the campground is a ranger station, and this is where I would recommend parking. You can also park at the horse stables that I'm going to show you on the map, but I would recommend parking at this visitor station. It's a ranger station, visitor station. There's plenty of parking here, and there's some bathrooms and things like that if you needed to change. And so once you start your ride, you're going to continue down 276 for about half a mile to a mile. 276 is paved, and then you're going to see 477. Look for a sign that says horse stables. because there's horse stables up here, and this is a gravel road. It's a climb, but it's very gentle. And you're going to pass a group campground called White Pines. And you're going to continue up 477, again, a pretty gentle climb. And then you're going to see some horse stables. You're going to turn on this road. As you come on this road, this is 5058, the horse stables will be on your left. And so, again, go by the horse stables, and you're going to need to go around a gate. And that's where it's still a gravel road. It's a little bit more narrow than this 477, but 5058 is a gravel road. It's a climb for 4 miles. The steepest part of the climb is actually right in the beginning, so the first 200-300 yards is going to be your steepest kind of climbing. It's definitely low gear type climbing. You're going to stay on this road. Don't veer off. You're going to see like a forest road here. You're going to see a trail here, another trail here. Just stay on the road, another trail here. Keep climbing. And there's kind of some just a short downhill sections along this, but it's mainly climbing. And it gets a little bit more gentle as you get closer to the top. When you get near the top, you're going to see 5057. Don't take that. You're going to kind of take more of a sharp right to stay on 5058, and then you're going to come to the top. You'll see an intersection. You'll see Black Mountain Trail go right, and then also Black Mountain go left. Make sure you take the left one. The right one is a very extreme ride. So you're going to go left up some stairs. It's kind of some log steps, little hike-a-bike section that's about 20-30 feet. Just got to carry your bike up. Unless you can trials up it, you're not going to be able to ride up it. You're going to keep climbing on this single track. It's fairly steep, but pretty much everything for the first section is rideable. And you are going to be huffing it. And there's some sections along here and some other sections that were, probably going 3 or 4 miles an hour, and my heart rate is about 170, so it's pretty steep. But again, everything's rideable. You'll see a trail off to the right. Don't take that one. Continue on down to this other intersection. When you get coming down to the intersection, it's a downhill. It's kind of rocky, but if you're a fairly good technical rider, everything's very rideable, and it's a lot of fun. When you get to this intersection, it's kind of a clearing of trees, and you'll see several trails here. You want to take Buckwheat Knob. I'm going to include some some photos at the end of this that I took along this route, and you'll see my bike leaning up against a sign, and that's at this intersection. So get on Buckwheat Trail or Buckwheat Knob, and again, it's up and down. You'll climb, you'll descend a little bit, you'll climb, and then you'll cross a dirt road. Go straight across. I think there may be even a gate that you got to go around right here. When you cross the dirt road, it's going to become Bennett Gap. This is where there are some sections that have some pretty good sized rock gardens. The first one for me was rideable. It's kind of drop the seat, lean back, and pick a good line type rideable, but it is rideable. It's kind of up and down. Most of the big rock gardens are going downhill. There's a couple that I had to walk. Again, there were some turns in the middle of the rock garden that were pretty sketchy. There is a rock garden that you're going to have to walk up, and there's actually if you go up on top of the rock, there's actually a nice view, and you'll see that in one of the photos that I put at the end of the video too. That was taken here. So again, it's kind of up and down, you're going to come down. You'll see some trails. One go off to the left here, one go off to the right here. Don't take those. Just kind of stay on the main trail. And then you're going to come down to this intersection. And by the way, the trail kind of becomes, I think it's called Coontree Loop, but it's still part of this main trail. Once you get to this intersection, you're going to go left. And this is where the trail goes back into being named Bennett Gap. And this is where the best downhill of the whole ride. It's a couple miles. It's relatively smooth compared to the rest of the ride. Everything would be very rideable for any rider. There's some roots and rocks, but it's very rideable. A lot of fun. So you're going to come back down to the forest road, and this is the road that you came in on, and you're just going to go go right at the forest road, continue down this way, and then back to the paved road 276. Go left and go back to your car. Now, after you finish your ride, there's a couple things that are very close that I would recommend doing. The first is drive out 276. So if you come out of the parking lot, go right, continue down 276, and you're going to come to Looking Glass Falls. Right off the road, some steps that go down to the bottom. You can even put your legs in the water there. Beautiful falls, pretty high, good photo opportunity. Again, it's right off the road and only a couple miles from the parking lot at the visitors area. If you keep going another couple miles, you'll come to Sliding Rock. This is a natural water slide, maybe, I don't know, 100, 200 feet. And it's a little fee area. I think it's a couple bucks a person, but it's worth it. It can get kind of crowded in the summertime. Now, obviously, you probably only do this in the summertime because the water is pretty cold. I'm going to say the water is around 60 degrees, but it's really nice and refreshing after a summer ride. So again, if it is summer, I recommend coming here and ending your ride by sliding down the rock and rinsing off in the little pool area at the bottom. So that's the route that I recommend doing in the Davidson River area. As far as ride time, that route took me of riding time about an hour and 45 minutes, I think. And so your time's going to range between, if you're just killing it, hour and a half, to where if you're just taking your time and you're not a real fast climber, it could take you 3 hours. As far as the bike, I mentioned my Giant Trance is really good. You could do this ride on a hardtail. 29er would probably be what I recommend if you're going to ride a hardtail. You'll get beat up a little bit for sure, but if you're just a hardtail purist, you can do this ride easily on a hardtail. Again, my recommendation would be full suspension with about 130 to 150 millimeters of travel. Anything more than 150 is going to be probably too heavy to get up some of these climbs. Riding season up here, you can pretty much ride all year round if they don't have snow. They don't get a lot of snow here, and the views are going to be nicer in the wintertime. My favorite time is summer and fall up here. Summer because I like riding in warmer weather, and the fall is just beautiful with the leaf changes. And if you've never ridden in the Pisgah area, it's really, really lush and green. It's going to be humid if you're from a more arid area, but me being from Florida, it's actually drier, so it's a nice reprieve. But if you're from way up north, it's going to probably be a little bit warm and humid for you. But again, it's a great route. There's some other routes you can do. Another one of my favorite is Laurel Mountain. That's also on the map. And if you want a ride that's just super fun but smooth, pretty buff trails, that would be Bent Creek up near Asheville. And from Brevard, Bent Creek is maybe 25 minutes, so not very far. So if you're coming in the area, I would recommend Bent Creek as well. So great riding up here. Again, you can ride all year round. So that's my, my trail review for this video. Thanks for watching.
As explorers of the mind, must devote our lives and energies to going further. We are the future.